Hey you, thanks for joining me. So today I thought I would do a little video just talking a bit about why I'm just not going to try doing YouTube Shorts. So I wanted to make videos that really allow me to actually explain myself in a way that I want to explain myself. And I feel like short form content, sometimes you have to be like very concise and very direct. And for me, that just doesn't get the ideas that I want to get through properly, or I can't figure out a way to relay that properly. I feel like the type of stuff that I want to make would not have the soul of what I want to create in it if I made it into short form content. And I also have been thinking about the audience that I want to curate, and I want to get people who subscribe to my content who are interested in hearing my more long form type of thinking, where things are more nuanced than they can be in short form content. I think it is important to consider who you want to attract to your channel. I watched two videos that really made me think about it a little bit more and really solidified my opinions on how I want to make my content. There was one video from Stitchery about why she regretted making shorts, and then another video from Internet Shaquille. I hope I'm saying his name right. It might have been a second channel, but basically talking about how he had experimented with making short form content. And I think they both raised some interesting points in regards to this. They talked a bit about who would be viewing your content. The Stitchery video talked a lot about how there was subscribers who were subscribing for her more short form content, where it was showing things in a very this is what I did, this is how it looks, and it looks great, and it is something very appealing to people. But then those people are not necessarily going to be as interested in her long form videos, which offer something very different. She has great videos that really go through the creative process without being a how-to video. It's not always going to be the same people, and so it kind of does create this divide in your subscribers, and so you get this bigger number of subscribers through people who really like your shorts, but they're not going to necessarily like your long form content. The other thing was in the Internet Shaquille video, he talked about how some of the way that shorts relay things is so quick, and it's people don't even really have time to acknowledge what they're looking at, and he would get really weird comments, and the comments would be crappier than they were on his other videos, and that the people who are watching that, they'd make really silly comments. It's a different type of consumption, and I don't really want to contribute towards that. I think there's enough things that do it better than I ever could, and make it work. So I don't want to say that I am against short form content. I do consume some short form content, and I think there are some great short form content creators. I also love creators like Elise Myers, who I found her through short form content that she made, and I think that's how a lot of people probably found her. But recently I started watching some of her long form content, and it's actually so lovely. It's all her vibes, I think it's one of those things where if you're a fan of her and her vibes, then it kind of works to transition from the short form content to the long form content. But I don't think anyone would need to feel obligated to do that. She does a very good job with both forms of content. I also don't love short form content on YouTube or the way that it is on YouTube right now. With normal YouTube videos, you have a fair rate of choice in evaluating the time, evaluating who the creator is, evaluating the title and thumbnail, evaluating all these little things. With short form content, they're given to you in a method where you don't have that choice in the same way. You don't have that choice to evaluate as much about it, but there's also less of a time cost. You know that you're only going to be investing a maximum of 90 seconds or however long the platform's maximum is. So I think it makes it easier to just watch things that you didn't necessarily intend to, you don't necessarily want to like consent to watching, but you're also just not going to say no to. Or you're going to at least like see a little bit of it. I find myself sometimes I will click on a short because I recognize a face that is showing on like the little short picture or whatever, or that it's from someone that I follow or whatever. And then like you watch it and then you get into the next thing and the next thing, and it's like, why? I only wanted to see this one thing, but now I'm watching more things. So I don't love the relationship that I have with short form content. There's so much beauty to YouTube in the way that like a standard YouTube video is, where the creator can really decide a lot about how they want to make something, how they want to time something. And that control over time is something that I think is maybe a little underrated, but I think it is important. I think that having somewhere to create things without these strict binds of time can give us some things that are really beautiful. They can give us appreciation for things that short form content maybe cannot. So cool that there are videos that exist on YouTube that are, as long as the person wants to make them, and people will still sit through it and watch it, more in line with what I like to watch, and it's also more in line with what I want to create. Thinking about what I want to relay, how I want to relay it, and how I hope it's received. I hope that the things that I make are received in a way that shows that there can be nuance, that shows that my opinions are not always the only way to see things by any means. Doesn't mean that my opinions are always right. And I hope that I leave room for other people to think of their own thoughts and to reflect and take time to maybe marinate on things. I think we also want to think about how what we consume maybe affects how we think. I think it's important to think about things with more complexity and more time than a short can provide. And so I just want to contribute to that. I think that's the vibe. I want to contribute to more nuanced thinking, to things not being black and white, to things having more than like 5 quick reasons. I like to explain my reasons and like go more in depth into why I feel like if I'm listing something and I'm trying to like explain it, it's because it's not just like as simple to me as just saying the thing. Because when we're making decisions, or if we're changing our mind about something, I think we need to get more in our head than just straight to the point things all the time. I think sometimes we need things to simmer. I don't want to show people how to think. I don't want to tell people how I think they should think. I want to show how I think, and maybe from sharing that, people get something out of that. Setting changed because I was recording outside, and where I just so happened to be like sitting, there were 2 guys who just ended up standing and chatting right by where I was. But that was a good little exercise of trying to film things in semi-public. So got an uncomfortable in while I was doing this video. Hooray! So thanks for joining me if you stuck around for this long form video that I didn't want to make into a short form video. If you have any thoughts on short form content, if you are a fan of it, if you're not, let me know. Again, I don't hate short form content. I do consume some short form content, and there are things that I do get out of it. But I think it is worth considering the different values, different modalities of information give us, and different value that we can get from investing a little bit more time into something. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care. Bye.